Hi, Dr. Jess here. And if you're struggling with the ups and downs of perimenopause or menopause, then today's video is for you. And if you're married to somebody or good friends with somebody that's going through these changes and you're not going through them yourself, also watch this video. It will better help you understand what they're going through. First, let's start with a better understanding of what is perimenopause versus menopause. Well, perimenopause is going to be that beginning phase of when the hormone fluctuations in a female's body start. So this can be anywhere in the late 30s to early 40s and can last for 4 to 10 years. What happens during this time frame is we're going to see drops in estrogen, progesterone, as well as testosterone levels. The hallmark sign of this phase is when the menstrual periods become irregular. Once you've hit full menopause, that's when you've had 0 menstrual cycle for 1 full year. At that point, you're considered to be in full menopause. Why do lower levels of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone during perimenopause or menopause matter? Well, first, we're going to have symptoms that are associated with that. First off, you can experience hot flashes and night sweats. If that's not bad enough, they can wake you up at night, which is going to cause sleep disturbances. Also, your circadian rhythm can be a little bit off, which just makes you feel groggy and tired and less motivated. Let's pile that on to all sorts of issues with mood, anxiety, which the sleep disturbance is not going to help with. Plus, we're going to have these fluctuating hormones that are making everything that much more difficult to manage with feeling stable throughout the day. Pile on top of that decreased metabolism, which is going to lead to weight gain, especially around the abdomen, which is not great for the health of our organs because that's what we call visceral fat. That's the fat that is in the abdominal cavity, and it makes it harder for those organs to function. Our bone health can also start to decrease, which leads to increased risk of osteoporosis and osteopenia because estrogen helps to protect our bone health. But because of estrogen's effect on the brain, and you can get what's called that perimenopausal brain fog. And last but not least, there can be increased risk of cardiovascular illness. Estrogen has a protective role on the heart muscle itself. So as frustrating as that sounds, this is actually considered normative aging. And the good news is that we can do something about it. The number one worst thing you could do during the perimenopause phase of your life is to stop moving. Exercise is the number one thing that you can implement right away and get results. Hot flashes and night sweats suck. If you want to decrease those symptoms, one of the best things you can do is not strength training. In this case, it's actually cardiovascular exercise. So think walking, running, biking, swimming, anything where you're sustaining that activity for an extended period of time. Regular participation in this kind of exercise helps the body regulate its thermoregulatory system, which is how hot or cold you feel. In addition, it helps to improve your circulation, which again is going to help you dissipate heat. This is going to help you decrease the frequency and severity of night sweats and hot flashes. Mood swings, irritability, and anxiety could be related to perimenopause or menopause. This is common when estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone levels are all fluctuating and decreasing. The good news is that many types of exercise can help combat some of these symptoms. So when we do strength training or aerobic training like walking, running, biking, we're going to release endorphins, which are naturally produced hormones that help to bring our mood up. Other forms of exercise like yoga and Pilates are going to have a rhythmic nature of breathing. At the same time, this is going to release positive endorphins, which also can help boost mood. So overall, there's nothing wrong with any kind of these exercises, whether you're doing strength, cardio, mobility, or stability exercises. They all have some sort of positive benefit on hormone release. If you're a woman that's struggling with falling asleep or staying asleep, it might be related to perimenopause or menopause. The reason why this happens is because night sweats are common and you're going to wake up just raging hot and a sweaty mess, or just because of the anxiety that's associated with all of these fluctuating hormones. Either way, it's rough. The good news is that with regular participation in cardiovascular exercise, which is walking, running, swimming, biking, anything that you sustain for a period of time with an elevated heart rate, what happens is your body's ability to be able to regulate body temperature improves over time, circulation improves over time, And your ability to fall into that natural circadian rhythm also improves. Therefore, your sleep quality can improve at the same time. Increased weight gain just around the abdomen could be related to perimenopause and menopausal changes. When you have that decreased estrogen circulating throughout your body, there's a redistribution of fat that happens, and oftentimes it'll accumulate right in that abdominal area. This troubling part is this is what's called visceral fat, and it's not good for the organs. The good news is that with exercise increases in your life and dietary changes, you really can get a hold of this. When you complete strength-based training, so this is anything where you're pushing free weights, kettlebells, barbells, or doing body weight support kind of exercises, and you're challenging your muscles to grow, your muscles are going to create their own metabolism. So as they get stronger and develop, that metabolism is going to burn more energy. So it's going to be a great way for you to be able to get that weight out of the midsection, which overall keeps your organs much healthier because they don't have that pressure of that adipose or fat tissue pushing on them. So now that we know hot flashes, mood, sleep, and body fat can all be improved, let's dive deeper into what else can be improved during our menopause years. You might think your bones are strong, but how do you know? If you wait until you have the fall and a fracture, it's a little bit too late. Estrogen plays a key role in our bodies in keeping our bone integrity strong. So when estrogen drops, we have to make sure we're doing other things in addition to keeping the bones as strong as we possibly can. This is when we're going to do activity that's like body weight support kind of activity, where we load our bones with body weight. Think squats, jumping, running, walking, anything where our bones have to have impact and resist that impact. It will keep the bones strong enough to the stress that we place onto it. This might seem counterintuitive, that loading bones is what keeps them strong, but the concept behind this is called Wolff's Law. When we apply stress to something, that's how whatever that is able to know what it needs to be able to withstand. So when I apply stress to a muscle, my muscle realizes, oh, I need to be able to accommodate this kind of weight. I need to be able to pull enough to lift it. Well, the same exact thing happens with bones. If we don't load our bones don't know what they need to be able to withstand. So then over time, they start to age and degrade just like anything else that isn't loaded. So load body weight and a little bit body weight plus, not just walking, but body weight plus, maybe some weights in your hands, things like that. And then the body will always be able to accommodate what you want it to be able to do, which is move your body in space. All right, so let's move out of the bones and let's dive into the brain. If you're over 40 and you're experiencing brain fog, it could be due to perimenopause or menopause symptoms related to hormonal shifts. During this phase of life, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone are all decreasing. That can lead to difficulty with focus, concentration, and just overall efficiency with your thought processes throughout your workday or home life. A great thing to do to prevent some of this or react if this is happening to you is to add cardiovascular exercise to your weekly routine. When you do activities like running, biking, swimming, going for long walks at a brisk pace, you're going to be elevating your heart rate and keeping that elevated heart rate for an extended period of time. The good news is that means that your heart's going to be pumping more blood throughout your body, and blood is filled with oxygen. We want that oxygen to also perfuse our brain. So when we're doing these kinds of activities and we've got this increased pump going, the pump is not just going to our muscles, it's also going to our brain. And our brain gets that big perfusion of oxygen, which is what it needs to function at its highest rate. This is how we're going to get neurogenesis going in our brain, which is how we keep high cognitive function, good focus and concentration, and we try and prevent any sort of degenerative diseases like dementia that could happen. So now we're going to jump out of the brain and we're going to jump into joints, tendons, and ligaments, which are the connective tissue that holds our body together. If all of a sudden you've noticed more aches, more pains, more strains, and you've done nothing different, it might be related to low estrogen. During the perimenopausal and menopausal years, as estrogen drops, it's going to affect our connective tissue, which are ligaments, tendons, and joint capsules. those are not going to have as much pliability or extensibility as they used to when estrogen was higher. Now, the bummer with this is that they're going to be more likely to get inflamed. The good news is that there's something you can do about it. You can add a normal mobility routine and stretching, so things like yoga and getting into classes that involve dynamic stretching and static stretching, or doing mobility and stretching work at home can all really help to keep the mobility that your body needs so that you don't get that shortening and then pull onto tissue that creates strains, itises, and sprains. So as you can see, all of these different areas of the body are impacted by perimenopause and menopause. The good news is that exercise can help tremendously with easing the symptoms, but not all exercise helps with every category. So as a recap, cardiovascular exercise is going to help you with mood regulation. Cardiovascular exercise is going to help you with mood, help you with temperature regulation, weight management, as well as that cognitive function and decreasing brain fog. Whereas strength training is going to help you with metabolism and weight management, as well as your bone density. And stretching and mobility is going to help you with maintaining the mobility of your joints, ligaments, and tendons to decrease that risk of achiness throughout the body. I hope you found this helpful. Make sure to leave a like if you did, and leave a comment below of what part of this you found helpful or any questions you might have. Also, don't forget, hit subscribe. Also, check out this video about how to be a hybrid athlete. It's all about combining cardio with strength training.